two mountain climbers, Chris and Jim. Mount McKinley, there in Alaska, a May morning, they're climbing the ice and something gives way, a slip, and down they tumble, 40 feet down into a crevasse, V-shaped, so that Chris, who fell first, landed face down, pinned right there at the bottom of this crevasse. On top of him, in short order, came a sled they were pulling, and then Jim on top of that. And it just wedged Chris into this crevasse. Pulling off the sled, Jim attempted to free Chris, couldn't do so, decides he's going to tie a rope around Chris and he's going to get leverage. He's going to climb his way up and out of this crevasse. 45 minutes later, gingerly having scaled the slopes of this crevasse, there he is at the top and spends the rest of that morning attempting to pull his friend free. Morning turns to midday to afternoon as he continues to try to gain leverage, to do everything he can to multiply the torque so that he could free his buddy who is stuck. Afternoon gives way to evening, and hypothermia is setting in. And 9 p.m. that evening, spent and distraught, crushed from the inside out, Jim cannot continue any longer and lies down to sleep in his encampment. Sometime through the night, Chris succumbs to hypothermia and dies. Wouldn't you know it? Jim won't leave. He stays, and he stays, and he stays. 8 days pass, and he is running out of food. And finally, Jim decides, I can stay no longer. Help wasn't going to come. And Jim goes down the mountain. I wonder if we, the church, have had the heart of Jim for those among us who have fallen. And might we instead leverage everything we have to try to free those in pain and stay and stay and stay? Could it be on this subject we could better be defined by our presence among those who are struggling through divorce than by our absence and our silence? May it not be said of me, of you, of us, by some member of our family, that when I went through the hardest thing I've ever experienced, the church was silent and absent, and I did not see nor hear from anyone. This complex question and challenge. There are many things I don't know. There are a few that I do. Number one, God calls me to spend myself self-sacrificially on my marriage to my wife and to commit everything. And this I know too, that He calls me as a pastor of this church, as a member of this church, to leverage our resources on behalf of the hurting and on behalf of those in pain and struggling. And we will not hold you outcast. Rather, we will sacrifice. And in the midst of it all, we will plead that Jesus keep speaking to us.
Hi, I'm Dave Ferguson. I'm the pastor of the Collegedale Church here on the campus of Southern Adventist University. You know, it seems to me this world is a mess, more than ever. And in the midst of it, the questions that are boiling up, we wonder, does Jesus have anything relevant to say about the problem in my life, the difficulty you're struggling with, I think he does. And I'd like to welcome you to subscribe to this YouTube channel as we explore the relevance of Jesus Christ in the everyday life of you and me. So subscribe, click the button.